Hey, what's up, chocolate lovers? Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here because today, oh man, today we're going deep. Real deep. You walk into a gas station, a Walgreens, a CVS, or any grocery store in America. You hit the candy aisle and what do you see? Snickers. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Kit Kat. M&M's. And sure, those are classics. Nobody's arguing that. But here's the thing, while everyone's grabbing those same 5 bars over and over again, there are some absolute legends sitting on that shelf being completely ignored. Overlooked. Disrespected. We're talking about bars that have been around for decades, some of them for over 100 years, that deliver a seriously incredible flavor experience for under $2. Under $2. So today, I'm making it my personal mission to put some respect on these names. We're counting down 5 cheap American chocolate bars that most people walk right past, and by the end of this video, I promise you're going to want to run to the store and grab every single one of them. These are your gold mines, people. Let's get into it. 5. Mounds, the dark chocolate coconut bar America has been sleeping on since 1920. Alright, let's kick things off with number 5, and I'm going to say something controversial right out of the gate. The Mounds bar is one of the most underrated pieces of confectionery in the entire United States. I know. Some of you are already shaking your heads. Mounds? That coconut thing. Yes. That coconut thing. And hear me out, because this bar has a story that most people have never heard. A century of coconut and chocolate. The Mounds bar dates all the way back to 1920. It was originally invented by a candy maker named Vincent Nittido in West Haven, Connecticut, and sold as a single piece for just 5 cents. 5 cents! The Peter Paul Candy Manufacturing Company acquired the line in 1929 and began scaling it up. By the time World War II rolled around, the U.S. military was purchasing about 80% of all Mounds candy production because it was that popular among soldiers overseas. Let that sink in for a second, the U.S. Army chose Mounds. That's not a bar you ignore, that's a bar that fueled a generation. Today, Mounds is made by the Hershey Company, which acquired the Peter Paul brand back in 1988. The bar is now produced at Hershey's plant in Robinson, Illinois. What's inside the wrapper? Let's talk about what you actually get. Inside every Mounds wrapper, you've got 2 individual pieces, each one is a mound of sweetened, shredded coconut encased in a rich, semi-sweet dark chocolate coating. And that's it. No peanuts. No caramel. No nougat. Just coconut and dark chocolate, clean and focused. The ingredients are refreshingly simple: corn syrup, semi-sweet chocolate, which includes chocolate, sugar, milk fat, cocoa butter, and lecithin, coconut, and sugar. That's the core of it. It's also gluten-free, which is a huge bonus for anyone with dietary restrictions. Now here's where Mounds separates itself from the pack. It's one of the very few mainstream American candy bars that uses dark chocolate, not milk chocolate, as its primary coating. And that matters. Dark chocolate brings a subtle bitterness, a depth of flavor, a richness that milk chocolate just doesn't have. When you combine that with the tropical sweetness of coconut, that's a genuinely sophisticated flavor profile. Why people skip it, and why that's a mistake. Here's the honest truth about why Mounds gets overlooked. People hear coconut and they immediately divide into 2 camps. Either you love coconut or you've convinced yourself you don't. But a lot of the people who say they don't like coconut have never tried it in combination with real dark chocolate. It's a completely different experience than, say, a coconut-flavored candy or a cheap, coconut cream filling. The other issue is the famous advertising jingle. You've heard it, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, Mounds don't. Written by composer Leon Carr back in 1970, the jingle was a massive hit. Ironically, by being paired so closely with Almond Joy in advertising, Mounds has always felt like the consolation prize aversion, the bar you grab when they're out of Almond Joys. That reputation is absolutely undeserved. Mounds' original slogan, indescribably delicious, was so good that the company ran a contest to find it and paid the winner just $10. They've stuck with it ever since, and honestly, it holds up. The experience. Here's a pro tip that will change your life: try a Mounds bar with a cup of black coffee or espresso. The dark chocolate and coconut combination plays off the bitterness of the coffee in a way that feels almost like a dessert pairing you'd find at a fancy restaurant. And you can do it for under $2. A standard Mounds bar, 75 ounces, comes in at roughly $1.39 to $1.89 at most retailers across the country. You get 2 pieces per wrapper. It's almost like 2 mini candy bars in one. The calorie count is around 240 calories for the full bar. Not bad for a snack that delivers this much flavor complexity. This is a bar that survived over a century of competition, a world war, a corporate acquisition, and hundreds of new candy launches. It's still here. There's a reason for that. Score I 9 out of 10. A timeless classic that deserves way more respect than it gets. 4. Whatchamacallit, the forgotten legend of the candy aisle. Okay, number 4. And I have a question for you before we even start. When was the last time you saw someone buy a Whatchamacallit? Like, voluntarily? Not because it was the only thing left in a vending machine, but because they specifically walked in and said, "Yeah, I want a Whatchamacallit today." Exactly. And that is one of the great tragedies of American confectionery. The story of the name that became the bar. The Whatchamacallit was introduced by the Hershey Company on December 8, 1978. The name was coined by a woman named Patricia Volk, who was working as associate creative director at the ad agency Doyle Dane and Bernbach, which had the Hershey account at the time. The idea was brilliant in its simplicity. People use the phrase Whatchamacallit when they can't remember the name of something. So by literally naming the bar that, Hershey made it impossible to forget. Kind of meta, right? The bar launched with a peanut butter crisp interior coated in a thin layer of chocolate. Then in 1987, Hershey's candy chemists went back to the lab and modified the formula to include a layer of caramel, and that's the version that's been on shelves ever since. What are you actually eating? The current Whatchamacallit is a layered experience. You've got a peanut-flavored crisp base. Think of it as a puffed rice and peanut combination, layered with chewy caramel, then coated in a chocolate candy coating. The result is a bar that hits multiple textures at the same time: crunchy from the crisp, chewy from the caramel, smooth from the chocolate. Now, one thing worth noting: after 2008, when ingredient costs went up, Hershey adjusted the formula slightly, reducing the cocoa butter content. Under FDA labeling rules, this means the bar can no longer technically be called milk chocolate. It's labeled as chocolate candy. Does this change the taste dramatically? Most fans say no. The bar still delivers on flavor. But it's something worth knowing as a conscious consumer. The bar is not gluten-free. It contains malt extract, so heads up if that's a concern for you. Why did everyone forget about it? Here's where the story gets kind of sad. Hershey actively advertised Whatchamacallit through the 80s with some genuinely great commercials, including an iconic animated ad with a catchy, new wave-inspired jingle that described all the ingredients over a danceable beat. People loved it. Then, somewhere around the mid-1990s, Hershey just stopped advertising it. They pulled the TV spots, moved the marketing budget elsewhere, and left Whatchamacallit to survive on word of mouth. And that's actually the most remarkable thing about this bar: it survived anyway. Despite practically zero advertising for decades, Whatchamacallit is still in production as of 2026. You can still find it in convenience stores, gas stations, and online. There is a dedicated fan base out there keeping this bar alive through sheer loyalty. One fan online summed it up perfectly: Whatchamacallit should be called the everything bar because it's got almost everything you want in a candy bar. And that's hard to argue with. Price and availability. At most convenience stores and grocery chains across the country, you can grab a 1.6 ounces Whatchamacallit for around $1.29 to $1.89. king-sized versions are also available if you're feeling ambitious. You can also order them in bulk on Amazon. If you haven't had one since the 90s, or if you've genuinely never tried one, this is the bar that's going to surprise you the most on this list. Score: 8, 5 out of 10. Underrated, unforgettable, and criminally under-advertised. 3. Reese's Take 5, the bar that won the LA Times candy rankings, and nobody noticed. Number 3, and this one actually has receipts. Official, documented, award-winning receipts. Reese's Take 5 was named the number 1 candy bar in the LA Times official Candy Bar Power Rankings in 2019. The number 1 bar in America. And yet, I guarantee that if you walked up to 10 random people on the street right now and asked them to name their top 5 candy bars, maybe one of them would say Take 5. Maybe. This bar has a legitimacy problem that has nothing to do with its taste and everything to do with its marketing. Let's fix that. A bar with 5 lives. Take 5 was originally released by the Hershey Company in December 2004. That 5 in the name refers to its 5 key ingredients: milk chocolate, peanut butter, peanuts, caramel, and pretzels. Yes, pretzels. In a candy bar. That's the genius move. Think about it, in the world of American candy bars, you're usually dealing with 1 or 2 flavor combinations. Chocolate and peanut butter. Chocolate and caramel. Chocolate and nougat. Take 5 said, why choose, and stacked all of them together into one layered experience. The Reese's rebrand. Here's a crucial piece of history. In June 2019, Hershey officially renamed the bar to Reese's Take 5 and added Reese-branded orange packaging. Why? Because, as Hershey revealed, the peanut butter inside the bar had always been Reese's peanut butter from the very beginning. They just hadn't been marketing it that way. So the rebrand was less of a change and more of a clarification. The formula stayed the same. That move also came with a renewed push to increase visibility for the bar. And honestly, it worked to some extent. People who loved Reese's started picking it up. But the bar still hasn't reached the mainstream recognition it deserves. What does it actually taste like? Let me paint you a picture. You bite into the Take 5 and the first thing you get is that snap of milk chocolate on the outside. Then the caramel hits, sticky and sweet. Then the pretzels give you that crunch and a little savory saltiness. Then the peanut butter layers in that nutty creaminess. And finally, the whole peanuts add another texture dimension. It's a full sensory experience in a single candy bar. The salt-to-sweet balance is exceptional, and this is a trend that's been dominating premium food and snack culture for years. Salted caramel, chocolate and sea salt, sweet and salty everything. Take 5 was doing this in 2004, before it was cool. As one satisfied fan put it in an online review, one of my favorites of all candy bars. The pretzel gives it great texture and the flavors are awesome together. Why it gets overlooked? The honest answer here is advertising. Take 5 launched in a competitive market, built an initial following, and then Hershey cut the ad budget in 2011 because they struggled to find the right marketing angle. The bar became something of an insider secret, beloved by the people who tried it, ignored by everyone who didn't know it existed. The Reese's rebrand helped, but the bar still gets overshadowed by the flagship Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, which are one of the top-selling candy products in the entire US market. Here's the bottom line: Reese's Take 5 is a genuinely complex, layered candy bar experience that punches well above its price point. It's available at basically every major retailer: Walmart, Target, Walgreens, CVS, gas stations, you name it, for around $1.49 to $1.99 for the standard size. For that price, you're getting 5 ingredients, a medley of textures, and a bar that was literally ranked the best in the country by a major newspaper. That's a deal. Score: 9, 5 out of 10. The most deserving of its underdog status, and the most likely to convert a first-time buyer into a lifelong fan. 2 to 100 grand, $1 million taste for under $2. Number 2. And we're going big, baby, we're talking 100 grand. This bar has one of the best names in the entire candy industry. It promises you a $100,000 experience. And honestly, it delivers. For less than $2. That's basically the greatest value proposition in the history of snacking. The bar that time forgot. The 100 grand bar was created in 1964 by Nestlé. Originally it was called the $100,000 candy bar, a name that was changed over the decades, going from $100,000 bar through the mid-1980s before finally landing on 100 grand. Today, it's produced by Ferrero, which acquired the brand as part of its major purchase of Nestlé's U.S. confectionery business. The bar weighs 1.5 ounces and its ingredient list is beautifully simple: milk chocolate, caramel, and crisped rice. That's it. 3 things. And the combination is almost unfairly good. The secret weapon: crisped rice. Here's what makes 100 grand special, and why it's different from every other caramel chocolate bar out there. That crisped rice. It's the same texture you find in a Nestlé Crunch bar, but in the 100 grand, it's fully integrated into the caramel and chocolate layer. So every bite gives you the snap and melt of milk chocolate, the stretchy, sweet chewiness of caramel, the crunch and light airiness of crisped rice. It's 3 textures in perfect harmony. As one very passionate fan on a Philadelphia radio station put it, the 100 grand is perfect. It's literally a Nestlé Crunch bar, but they inflated it and shoved it full of caramel before sealing it up. That's exactly what it is. And it's glorious. Why does nobody buy this? This is genuinely one of the great mysteries of the American candy market. The 100 grand bar is a well-made, 3-ingredient candy bar with an iconic flavor profile and a name that practically markets itself. And yet, it consistently flies under the radar. Part of it is that the caramel chocolate market is dominated by names like Snickers, Milky Way, and Twix, bars that have massive marketing budgets and generational brand loyalty behind them. 100 grand never had that kind of sustained advertising push, and without visibility, even a great product gets forgotten. You're most likely to encounter a 100 grand in a Halloween candy bowl, a mixed bag of fun-size bars, or a coworker's desk candy dish. But full-size, standalone? People walk right past it at the checkout counter. Where to find it and what to pay? 100 grand bars are available at most major U.S. retailers: Walmart, Target, CVS, Walgreens, grocery chains, and convenience stores nationwide. A full-size bar, 1.5 ounces, typically retails for around $1.29 to $1.89. You can also buy them in bulk. A 36-count box is available on Amazon, which is perfect for a candy bowl, a party, or just stocking up because once you try one, you're not going to want to stop. Pro tip: try a 100 grand bar chilled in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes. The caramel firms up just slightly, the crisped rice gets extra crunchy, and the chocolate snaps cleanly. It's a completely different, and arguably even better, experience than at room temperature. Score I 9 out of 10. Simple, brilliant, and wildly undervalued. A goldmine hiding in plain sight. 1. Fifth Avenue, the greatest peanut butter crisp bar you've never bought. And here we are. Number 1. The top of the list. The goldmine of gold mines. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fifth Avenue bar. Now, I know what some of you are thinking: isn't that basically a Butterfinger? And look, I get it. I understand the comparison. But here's where I'm going to challenge you. The Fifth Avenue bar is not basically a Butterfinger. It is, in the opinion of many who have taken the time to actually compare them, the superior product. And I'm going to make that case right now. A bar with a history as rich as its filling. The Fifth Avenue bar has origins dating back to the 1930s, originally created by William H. Loudon, yes, the same Loudon who gave us Loudon's cough drops. The name was chosen to evoke the kind of upscale sophistication associated with New York's famous Fifth Avenue. Classy name. Classy bar. Here's an astonishing fact: the the Fifth Avenue bar has not been advertised since 1993. That's over 30 years of zero TV commercials, zero digital campaigns, zero influencer partnerships. And this bar is still on shelves. It's still being produced by Hershey's. It's still showing up in candy aisles across the country, kept alive by a quiet, devoted base of fans who know what they've got. Fifth Avenue versus Butterfinger, the real difference. Both bars feature a crunchy, peanut-flavored filling inside a chocolate coating. But the differences are meaningful. The Butterfinger has a bright orange filling with a sharp, brittle crunch that tends to shatter and stick to your teeth. The flavor leans sweet and peanutty with a slight artificial edge. The Fifth Avenue's filling is richer and more molasses-forward. It has a more refined crunch, more layered and substantial, and the chocolate coating feels thicker and more integrated. Where Butterfinger is bold and aggressive, Fifth Avenue is sophisticated and complex. It's been described as having a flavor profile similar to peanut brittle crossed with a high-end toffee. Food critics and candy enthusiasts have consistently called Fifth Avenue criminally underrated and noted that it offers a more authentic, less artificial peanut butter experience than its more famous competitor. The candy aisle dynamic. The problem the Fifth Avenue bar faces is purely one of visibility. When you walk up to the candy rack, Butterfingers are front and center, bright orange wrapper, massive brand recognition, Super Bowl commercials. The Fifth Avenue bar, in its quieter brown and gold packaging, doesn't scream for your attention. It waits for you to come to it. And that's actually kind of fitting for a bar named after the most sophisticated street in New York City. The bar is also available at Sam's Club in bulk packs, which tells you that someone out there is buying these things by the case. The bulk candy market data suggests that Fifth Avenue has a very loyal repeat purchase customer base, the kind of people who discover it once and never go back to Butterfinger. Price and value. A standard Fifth Avenue bar, 2 ounces, retails for approximately $1.29 to $1.89 at most U.S. retailers. You can find it at Walmart, Target, Walgreens, CVS, and in the candy aisle at most major grocery chains. It's also available online in bulk through retailers like Sam's Club and Amazon. For the price, you're getting a genuinely well-crafted bar with real flavor complexity, over 90 years of candy-making history behind it, and a texture experience that stands entirely on its own. Score, 10 out of 10. The Gold Mine Champion. The most overlooked bar on this list and the one most likely to become your new favorite. Alright, before we wrap up, let's give a quick shout out to a few more bars that almost made the list. Payday, no chocolate, technically, but the combination of salted peanuts over a sweet caramel nougat core is pure salty-sweet genius. Created in 1932 during the Great Depression as an affordable, protein-rich snack, it was even popular with soldiers in World War II. Still going strong for under $2. Mallow Cup. This Pennsylvania-based cup candy filled with creamy marshmallow and dark chocolate has been made by Boyer Candy Company since 1936. Regional, rare, and absolutely worth hunting down. Zagnut. Introduced in 1930 and still made by Hershey's, the Zagnut is a peanut butter wafer coated in toasted coconut instead of chocolate. It's one of the most unique bars on any shelf, and almost nobody buys it. Their loss. Abba-Zaba, a California legend since 1922. White taffy filled with peanut butter, with that iconic black and yellow taxicab checkerboard wrapper. It's been referenced in songs by Captain Beefheart and Tom Waits, appeared in a Dave Chappelle film, and showed up on HBO's Boardwalk Empire. Mostly available west of the Rockies, but worth seeking out. The final rankings. Let's do a quick recap of our top 5. 1. Fifth Avenue, sophisticated, rich, complex. The true gold mine. 2. 100 grand, 3 perfect ingredients. $1 million taste, pocket change price. 3. Reese's Take 5, 5 ingredients, 1 legendary bar. The award winner that America forgot. 4. Whatchamacallit, the candy bar with the name you can't forget and the taste that keeps you coming back. 5. Mounds, over 100 years of coconut and dark chocolate perfection. The original tropical escape. Why we ignore these bars. Here's something I want to leave you with. We've spent a lot of this video talking about how these 5 bars are ignored, overlooked, and underbought. But why? The U.S. candy and chocolate market is enormous, worth billions of dollars a year, and it's dominated by a handful of mega brands that spend massive amounts on advertising. Statista data from 2025 shows that brands like Snickers, Kit Kat, M&M's, Twix, Hershey's, and Reese's enjoy brand awareness among over 90% of American consumers. Those companies invest heavily in keeping their products at the front of your mind. The bars on our list today? They either stopped advertising decades ago, got acquired by larger companies that deprioritized them, or simply never had the marketing muscle to compete. But here's the thing, taste doesn't care about marketing budgets. The Fifth Avenue bar tastes exactly as good as it did when it was being made in the 1930s. Mounds has been delivering dark chocolate and coconut for over a century. These are not consolation prizes. These are genuine products with real craftsmanship behind them. When you grab one of these bars, you're not settling. You're discovering. And that, my friends, is worth something. Alright, that's it for today, folks. I really hope this video convinced you to give at least one of these underrated bars a shot. Seriously, next time you're at a gas station or a convenience store, walk past the Snickers and pick up a Fifth Avenue or a 100 grand. Report back in the comments. I want to know what you think. And hey, if you already have a favorite underrated American candy bar that I didn't mention today, drop it in the comments. I read every single one. This community is the best community on YouTube for chocolate conversation, and I am not just saying that. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, it genuinely helps the channel grow more than you know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss a new video. We drop new content every week and we are just getting started. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sweet.